Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another video for you guys. I am so glad. So what? You guys, I always mess up talking to y'all, right? I am so glad you guys are back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who are new, my name is Adina. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss out on any videos I might have coming up for you guys. And as you can see from the title, this is story time. I'm going to tell you guys about a time that I was stalked. Like some real life movie type stalking. Okay? So, if you guys want to hear my story, you guys know how dramatic I am. I'm going to make it good for y'all. Stay tuned. Keep watching. And I love y'all. Peace. Okay. I don't even know where to start. So, matter of fact, the man that I'm telling you about in this story is the same man I'm going to tell you about in the last story, the one that I caught cheating. Don't mind me out. Okay, so let me see where to start. I don't want to make the story so long, so I need to start like where I can get right to it. Okay, so it started. So I've been dating this man for 2 years. I don't have a name for him. I'm gonna just call him Man. I'm gonna call him Man. So me and Man, I'm gonna tell you how it got started. So me and Man, we went on a date one night, and I want to say what the movie was that was coming out, but I'm afraid if someone sees this video, they might tell him. So I'm not going to say what movie was coming out, because if I say what movie was coming out at that time, it'll be so exact for people to know. So I'm not going to say what movie was coming out at that time. So we went to the movies. We're online. Mind you, it's a long line. It's a popular movie. So we're on waiting on this long line. So while we're waiting on this long line, he wants to smoke. Like, he wants to smoke while we're inside the theater waiting on this line. And I'm just like, no, you know, like, wait until we're done, until we leave or whatever. So he has an attitude. He starts raising his voice a little bit. Mind you, he's a drunk. Meaning, like, he drinks every day, all day, as soon as he wakes up, whatever. So he does it anyway. Like, he does it really quickly, and then he puts it out. So then he's like, oh, he's going to go to the bathroom, and he's going to roll up. So when we're watching the movie, we can smoke while we're watching the movie. I was just like, whatever. You know, like, there's no telling him anything, and he's going to listen to me. So whatever. I didn't say anything. I was just standing there. He already took me out the mood. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go see this movie, and I'm going to enjoy this movie, whether he doesn't or not. So don't mind the bags under my eyes, guys. I'm really tired. So we watched a movie or whatever. So while we're in the movie, he goes to the bathroom. He rolls up. He comes back, and he lights it up. And he's smoking, and he's drinking. So now security is walking around, and they're looking for the smell. They want to know where it's coming from. So I'm like, put it out, because I don't need security coming over here. So he puts it out or whatever. So movie's over. So now we need to get a taxi, a cab to go home. So mind you, y'all, this is when I was living in New York. So we need to get a cab to go home. So we get a dollar cab or whatever. We get in the cab, and he starts smoking in the cab. And the cab driver is like, you know, he doesn't want any smoking in his car. Could he please stop smoking and put it out? So Man is like, he got an attitude. Oh, fuck that. I'm not doing it. I said, why don't you put it out? The man don't want you smoking in his car. So whatever. He's got an attitude. He puts it out. So mind you, I'm not saying anything. I'm not, you know, overreacting or anything yet, because we're in the car and because we were at the movie theater. So when we get out the car, best believe I started running my mouth. Ooh, I started running my mouth. I can't even remember the things I was saying, but I was mad, and I was yelling, and I was just like, I was just ready to fight. I was ready to fight him, because you embarrassed me. Like, you're embarrassing. You embarrassed me. You embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed us. So he's like, oh, you're going to come upstairs and chill with me and smoke for me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come. So then when we get upstairs to his apartment, I don't even go outside. I stop at the door, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not in the mood. I'm just going to go home. So he's mad. He's like, no, come on, come on, come on. I said, no, I'm going home. So I go home. So as I'm walking down, I seen my friend. It's a male friend. And I guess my man that I was with, seeing how good my friend was looking, is because don't say y'all men don't judge how other men look, because y'all do, whether you're gay or not. So I guess he's seen how the other man was looking, and he saw him and he looked at him or whatever. He seen I was going down the steps, and he seen my friend was going down the steps. But mind you, my man don't know that I know him, that I know my friend. So whatever. So I'm walking home. Friend gets in his car and rides up, I guess, in the direction that I'm walking. And he's like, oh, you don't deserve that. Come hang with me. He had to tell me twice. I got my ass right in that car with him. And we were smoking, just driving around smoking, you know, not really doing nothing, just talking. Friend forgot his ID. So we couldn't do nothing because he don't have ID. So friend has to go back to my man's building. Y'all, this is a smoker session video, all right? I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. So friend goes to the building. So I get in the back seat and I'm laying down hiding because I'm afraid that my man might come out and see me or whatever, right? So mind you, I'm laying in the back seat like a creeper. I'm laying in the back seat like a creeper, y'all. So mind you, when I'm looking, I see my man come out the building and I see him walking towards my house. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm not cheating or anything. I mean, I guess you would call this cheating. Sitting in a man's car, hiding and shit. Not even because, like, I just didn't want him to see me, because we were just arguing. We just had a bad night, and I just didn't want his company or whatever. So, friend takes a minute to come back out. I'm all stressing, like, oh my God, if you don't hurry up. Mind you, my man is calling my phone, like, ringing my phone. So, I'm like, he left me a voicemail. So, I check the voicemail while I'm in the back seat, and I hear he's talking to my cousin. He's in my house talking to my cousin, like, where am I? And my cousin's like, oh, he don't know because I didn't come home. So I was like, damn it. So I'm like, okay. So he keeps calling my phone. I never thought I'd be one of those women where a man calls her phone like 100 million trillion times. So he's just ringing my jack. So mind you, friend comes back now, and friend gets in the car, and I'm like, oh my God, I saw him come out. He went up there. He's at my house. We got to go somewhere. So we go somewhere. So we're just driving around, smoking. I think he picked up one of his friends. And yeah, he picked up one of his friends. So, you know, so then we wind up parking around the corner from my house. Just sitting right there parked while he's at my house ringing my phone. I don't want to answer. Why do you keep calling? So then the next day I made us some story like I needed some time. I went to the park. I was at the park smoking, blah, blah, blah. Right? Whatever. So then I don't know what happened. Time goes by. We must have gotten to another fight. I pretty much told him I didn't want to be with him anymore. And I don't think I said I didn't want to be with him, but I said we needed space. Yeah, I told him that we needed some space. We needed some time. Because we both weren't working. So I got a job. So I had gotten a job, and he needed to get a job and get himself together. So I got a job. I was working, and I was just like, we need time apart so you can get yourself together and I can get myself together. And he wasn't trying to understand that. So then finally, I guess he came to his senses and he called me. He was like, I understand, and blah, blah, blah. We had this long conversation. So boom. Why This man knew my whole schedule, y'all. This man knew from the time I woke up to take my son to school, the time I picked him up, or my uncle would pick him up, the times that I went to work, the time I was getting out, the way I walked home. He knew it all. Like, he knew it to the T. So, being when I asked for space, I started seeing him outside more. Mind you, he would hardly be outside. He would, but it would be with me. So, now I'm starting to see him outside more by himself. And I'm like, so it would be in the morning when I'm taking my son to school. He'd just be standing in front of the building. So I'm like, oh, I'm not walking this way. I'm going to go this way. So when I go this way, and then when I drop my son off, I see him come walking from the other direction. So I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, let me walk this direction and go home. Pick my son up from school. He's like on the corner, like up the street on the corner. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, is this man stalking me? Like, I never had a stalker before, y'all. So I'm like, is he stalking me? Like, he knows my damn schedule, like all that. So one day, where am I? One day, I think I'm working the bar. I think this was when I was bartending. I had 2 jobs. I was working, I had my job, and then I think I was working the bar. So yeah, I think I was at the bar, and then I get a phone call from my son's daycare saying his dad is trying to pick him up. I said, who? He said his dad. I said, his dad? I'm like, no fucking dad. Like, his y'all, excuse my French. His dad, there's no way his dad is picking him up. That's not true. So she's like, okay, well then we need you to come down because there's a man that's trying to pick up your son. It was him. It was the man trying to take my son out of school, like trying to pick up my kid. Like, are you crazy? I'll kill you. Yeah. So I go to the daycare and I pick up my son, and they're like, oh, do you want to file a restraining order? We think it's best you file a restraining order or whatever, so there's no way he can come on our property or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll file a restraining order. I didn't want to because then it's calling the cops and having to get involved. I don't feel like doing all that, you feel me? So whatever. Call the cops and file the restraining order on him. So mind you, the restraining order is good for, I believe, 2 years. So he can't come near that school. He can't come near my house. He can't come near us, period. So now he's mad. Now he's like, oh, you called the cops on me. I'm like, well, you're threatening to pick up my child from school. Like, why would you do that? So mind you, right? So that went by, the restraining thing. So I told you, so he knew my schedule. So now I had to switch up my schedule, what time I took my son to school, what time I picked him up, my work schedule, all that. So I wasn't running into him. And I had to change my ways going there, change my ways coming. And it was working. It started working. I wasn't seeing him. Like, I was seeing him. Like, it was a little creepy. Like, dang. So then my birthday comes. And he's calling me. And I'm with my friend. And we're like, we're going to go to the club. I forgot what club we went to. Somewhere in Queens. So we went to the club. He called me all night, y'all. He called me all freaking night. Like, to the point my phone was going to die. I'm surprised it didn't die. I had to turn it off so it wouldn't die. And then when I turned it back on, like, it was still ringing. Like, he was still calling me when I would turn it back on to check, Me and my friend, we got home at, it was almost daylight outside. Like, it had to be at least almost 5 o'clock in the morning. And the sun was coming out. And this is when I was smoking cigarettes. So I was like, let's smoke one more cigarette before we go in the house. So she was like, yeah, let's do that. So we do that. We on the porch. Y'all. I look across the street. He's standing across the street with his friend, watching us, smoking a cigarette. He's smoking a cigarette too with his friend. And they're across the street watching us. And I'm like, holy shit, are you kidding? Like, you literally stayed up all night calling me, and now you're across the street watching. That's a little creepy. So the next day, I don't know if it was the next day, but I'm going to say the next day. It could have been the next day or a couple days after or whatever. I can't remember the time frame. But me and my friend, same friend, we're in the liquor store. Getting some wine or whatever, you know, taking pictures, like, My friend go, Dina, look outside. So I look outside. Why is the man across the street leaning against the building smoking a cigarette? Just staring at us. Y'all, that is creepy. That was so creepy. I jumped on my friend like, why is he across the street watching us? Like, what is going on? Like, I am tired of this. Like, I have a restraining order on him, and he's just still, like, you know what I mean? Was so creepy. Like, that was so scary, y'all. Like, I don't even remember if he did anything else. Like, I think after that, we talked, and I didn't wind up getting back with him, but we wind up fooling around. And yeah, that was that. And then that was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in. The most toxic. Like, no one knows. Like, I think I'll tell y'all one day about, it was just bad. And yeah, I'll never go back to something. Like, I learned a lot out of that relationship, and I know my worth, and I'll never be in another situation like that. I know that for sure. Get a restraining order, get help, something. Carry something with you. Yeah. So if you guys, I don't know what else to say. If you guys enjoy story time, subscribe and hit that bell. And stay tuned for any more videos. And I love y'all.